What's up, everyone? My name is Tyler. You're watching Mom's Basement MMA. And in this episode, we have a frequent flyer on the program. The Italian Stallion, Nick Caracappa, joins us ahead of his fight versus Alex Brown. That'll be happening on September 20th at Ring of Combat 85. Nick, welcome back to the program. Let's do this again. We had you earlier this summer, and we had a cancellation that didn't work out, but here we are. Same opponent, new date.
Yes, sir. I got staff right before that fight. Training hard in the summer, right when summer started, and like a week out before that fight, I noticed I got staph infection, and it wasn't something I was playing around with.
How long did it take you to come back from something like that? Because that's a very, very serious sort of deal. And there are a lot of guys I know that have talked about fighting something like that, and it takes a little while for their cardio to come back.
Yeah, no, definitely. My cardio, that's where like a lot of people were telling me like it's gonna be your cardio, but my cardio felt great. It just I had like a fucking like grapefruit size like staff. It was a huge ball right on my waistband, and I just couldn't train with it. Couldn't ride a bike, couldn't do anything. And then I was pushing through it. Dante was telling me to pull out of the fight. That was like last case scenario for me. And then I wound up getting hit and training in the exact spot, and it blew up even more. And I knew I had to go to the hospital right when I got hit in it.
How long did it take you, Nick, to get on the mend and start like getting back to training like you normally would?
I really never took I never really never took time off. Honestly, I don't remember even taking time off for that. I was still in the gym training. I just wasn't training with anybody. I was by myself in the room. But probably honestly, like a week and a half. Really, honestly, like a week and a half of just like relaxing, I would say.
Your opponent, Alex Brown, is concerned. Was it relatively easy to like get him rebooked for a different date? Because sometimes these fights fall off, and then guys, are like, "Nah, man, I ain't trying to fight this guy anymore." Like, how easy or how difficult was it to rebook Alex Brown for this fight?
Right when I pulled out, I hit him up and I said, "Yo, I'm pulling out of the fight," just so he was aware of everything. And the owner of Ring of Combat let me know within like a couple hours, honestly, that the next card was available. I said, "Yeah." I tried getting a fight even before him. I tried getting a fight for another promotion in New York like a month and a half before this, but the timing wouldn't allow me to do it, so I decided just to fight Alex Brown September 20th. It wasn't hard for him, honestly, to sign the contract. For some reason, he thinks he's got something in the bag to surprise me, but it wasn't hard to get him to sign up again.
Well, Nick, when I think of you, I think of an aggressive fighter. I think about somebody who's very powerful. I think about somebody who goes for the knockout finishes every single time. But I also know that there's a lot more to your game. You don't always show it. We saw a little bit of it during the Forrest fight, but you're actually quite technical. We don't always see that. Do you maybe have some tricks for him that he might not be expecting come fight night?
For sure. This is definitely going to be the biggest change you'll see in my game come September 20th everywhere. Even just standing in the pocket, just shit I'm gonna do is that no one's seen me do it yet. So I'm excited to showcase who I really am on September 20th. And I think he's the perfect opponent for me to just showcase my skills on, because he's game. He's definitely game. Like the guys he fought are tough, but I just think I'm a little bit tougher than the guys he fought.
Well, September 20th, it's coming right around the corner. And for you, it has been almost a year since your last fight. And I know that that was not the game plan. Can you talk to me, Nick? Like, how hard has this, like, the past year been for you to stay away? Because obviously, you go out there for your pro debut, you don't get the result. It was a fantastic fight. It was one of the best fights that I've seen in CFFC in recent memory. But you've been sitting on that one for a while, and nobody plans on losing their debut and then being on the shelf for a year. How hard has it been to be away?
It fucking sucks. It takes a toll on you mentally. There's months where like I could say months leading up from my last fight, because there's sometimes there was months leading up to this date coming up that I didn't know what the hell I was doing anymore. I put my all into it leading up, and to just be sitting at 0-1 for a fucking long time, it can make or break you. I just know the type of fighter I am, and I'm only 24, so in about 3 years from now, I plan on being like 9-1, 10-1 in the UFC. But everything happens for a reason. That's what I keep telling myself. And I think right after I fight September 20th and I get the victory in an exciting fashion, I'll have all my confidence back in the world. But right now, I feel like my back's against the wall and I have a lot of pressure on me. And I think this is like the best I've felt going into a fight. And it's weird because like it's also the most nervous I've been going into a fight. Not that it's because it's my opponent, just everything leading into this fight. There's a lot on it. And my last fight, I can even say I didn't feel that pressure going into my pro debut. Even in the locker room, I wasn't getting like the butterfly feeling. My legs felt great. Everything felt great in the locker room. I wasn't ever nervous leading up to that fight, even though he was a very dangerous opponent. But this fight, I have that nerve feeling again, and I feel like that's a good thing.
For you, Nick, can you tell me a little bit about just you as a mixed martial artist from the Forest fight to about what we're going to see on September 20th? What are some of the biggest moves you've made in your career? Like, or it from your just in terms of your development, like how much more advanced are you since that Forest fight? And are there certain parts of your game that where you feel you've improved a ton since your last fight?
No one really knows this about me, but my wrestling's I consider my wrestling world class for MMA. I have amazing hips in wrestling, and I always am the one like shying away from the wrestling. I really believe that this fight I'm gonna be able to mix everything up like great. Whether it's in my if I'm on the feet with him in my pocket, I'm gonna have my guard up and everything. I made all the changes. I'm like a big nerd with this fight game. I'm my own biggest hypocrite, and everything about me I like pick apart, and I stalked that fight, and doesn't even feel like it was me out there. I usually am like I feel like a controller. I'm in my mind. I'm just controlling him out there. I'm just moving. But this fight, I believe it's gonna be a pretty one-sided fight. I honestly believe. I think I'm gonna put an ass whooping on him.
I recently had your teammate on the program not that long ago. Galante was on here and we were talking about you a little bit. And he's like, yep, I get some time in with Nick. He's a great dude. And he's helped my career a lot. Can you tell me a little bit, just getting time in with Galante? He's getting ready to fight here in a few days.
Tomorrow,
How's that?
yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, how's that been for you? And what kind of impact has he had on your camp?
He honestly, me and Nick, this was like our first like camp, like we really did together while we were in camp. Different things we work on while we were in camp, but the sparring and everything, me and him got our rounds in for sure. This fight leading up to it, Nick's a great fighter. Nick's one of the best fighters I've ever had the honor to train with. His striking is so crisp and clean that I think when he shows it and everything, everyone thinks he's just a grappler, but I think his hands are probably right there with his grappling, or even a little bit more. He started working with Carl Robertson, and you literally saw the changes within a week of how he was moving in the gym, his switching stances, how fluent he is. And Nick's a great guy to have in the gym. He's a little bit older than me, so I always found him to be mad cool in the gym, the way he trains and everything. I always wanted to fucking work harder and be like him.
Well, for bringing it closer to you, Ring of Combat 85, it looks like an absolute stacked card. And you scroll through here, and someone else I know on this card pretty well is going to be fighting right there with you. Your brother, Matt, he'll be stepping into the cage after an absence as well. What's it like knowing that your brother, Matt's also going to be competing on the same card as you?
I think that's probably the coolest thing in the world. So it's like if you're like what I can describe it as is like the closest thing is if like high school or like a fight like that, you got you would always want either your big brother with you or your best friend, and I got my fucking boys in the crowd, and I got my best friend as well as my older brother fighting with me, and he'll be warming up in the back. I think we're gonna feed off that shit. I really don't think it's gonna negatively affect us, like because we're both gonna be warming up and shit. I'm gonna be nervous for him. He's gonna be nervous for me. I almost throw up before I watch him fight, so I don't know how that's gonna work out. But I know I'm gonna fight before him, so I'm happy. I get to knock out my guy and then go watch my brother knock out his guy. But the goal is to have three brothers on one card one day. That's still the goal. And you never know. Maybe they could fucking put my brother Phil on the Ring of Combat card. I know he wants to get on it, so you never
Well,
know.
fingers crossed. Yep, we never know. And for you, the comeback path, it all starts on September 20th. And I'm not saying you're looking past Alex Brown. I know you're too smart for that, but what I would ask you
I've been
is,
thinking about Alex Brown daily. He's fucking in my head daily. I don't like Alex Brown. At first, I was cordial with him, but I still see the shit he posts. I had unfollow him because I just think he's a dork.
what's the beef with him? Like, what is it just trash talk or what?
There's no beef on my end. I say the same thing I say to every opponent. I go out there and I look for a first round knockout. That's my goal going into every single fight. Doesn't change. I never look for anything
Mhm.
else besides a first round knockout. And if it doesn't come, it doesn't come. But I saw him like post some stupid shit where he's like saying, "Be prepared because I'm going to knock you out in the first round." Just shit like that. Like, I don't know. I think that's like mentally him like telling himself he needs to say this in order to win the fight or create some type of drama uh attach his name to make a bigger fight than it is. But I think I'm gonna really walk through him. I'm not looking over him or anything. I know when that door closes, everybody's tough for the first 30 seconds, minute. But it's the trenches we're talking about. 2 minutes into the round, we both landed some shots. Who's still standing there? And I know in my heart, I've been through the fire before. I've been through a war for my pro debut. I don't think he's been through a fight like that. I really don't think so. I think he's broke a lot in a lot of fights where he chose to quit. And if you're fighting me and you have that quit in you, I know I'll make him find that quit in him the night we fight. And this whole fight, this is everything for me. This fight, this is a bigger fight than me, than my pro debut or any other fight could possibly happen. Honestly, I would say this fight right now would be bigger than a UFC title fight in my future, because in order for me to get there, I have to go through Alex Brown first and get everything back I lost in my pro debut.
There's a list. I know there's a list of guys that you want to fight after Brown. Who are some of those guys that you want to fight? Like, if you could give me like your top 3 guys that you would want to fight, who are they? And is that something we might be able to see maybe in 2025?
Honestly, I used to always have names ready in the back of my head I wanted to fight, but I honestly just been really zoned in on myself. I haven't even been thinking about anybody else. You know, I've been doing a lot of like fucking like reading and shit and getting a lot into like my mind, and even having my older brother in fight camp is the best thing for me because he's always calling me, checking in, taking me places to train with him and telling me what I need to hear. And I feel like I'm at war with myself, not anyone else. Anybody I fight, I don't like. Honestly, I won't like you till after the fight. So I can always I feel like I can always, which is good for my future. Like when I get to the UFC or a big promotion one day, I know I can get a lot of hype around the fight. I know I can make any fight hype worthy or make someone that doesn't watch MMA watch it. That's like my goal, is just being a great entertainer, and I know I can. But just for like the next couple fights, I'm really gonna like focus in on myself. And if someone wants to fucking call me out, we can make it happen. But I know one guy I don't like. I think he signed to PFL right now. I would have said his name. I don't even want to say his name on another interview.
Well,
I
then
just
we
feel like this. Man, I'm not gonna say
we'll
his name.
we'll go ahead. We'll leave it at that. Nick, you're the man, and I want to turn it back over to you. Obviously, we have fight night coming. Not that it's not that far off. September 20th. Are you still selling tickets? And who are the sponsors? Who are the people that you need to shout out before I let you go?
My boy's flight school. His dad owns a big airplane school. He'll take you for a flight anywhere you want. I'll put that in the comments. The Skillet in Freehold. It's one of the best breakfast places around you could get. That's all for right now. Honestly, I'm keeping this like a little bit smaller than usual. I'm not even concerned about sponsorships. The people that have been with me from the beginning, they'll always be with me. It's mainly my parents. I want to give a big shout out to my mom and dad for giving me everything I wanted in my life to be able to provide for me to do what I do in fighting. Without them, I wouldn't be able to be a fighter. And my 2 older brothers as well. And
Well,
I also have a little bit more to say if I can, real quick. Fucking, I've been doing a little bit more training. I've branched out to I'm not only under Dante Rivera's now. I would say I train under Richie Van Hoon in Jersey City. I get some great working with him now, and James Meals in Woodbridge. I've been doing my striking with him. So I feel like in New Jersey, you need to go out to as many places as you can train with in New Jersey. It's not like a big state like Florida where you have gyms with hundreds of fighters that are in your weight classes. That I've been getting different looks this entire camp, which I haven't had since my amateur days. I would say that's when I was really I feel like in my amateur days, I was just as good as I am now because of everybody I was training with. I was just going gym to gym, and I've been doing that again. I've been training with Dylan Dennis, which he's the man. If anybody doesn't like him, I think you're a fucking weirdo because that guy's the fucking man. But even him, like even training with him, I feel like I'm leveling up every single day, and the guy I'm fighting, he's leveling, his level's going down, and my stock's going up. Just leave it with that.
Well, we'll go ahead. We'll leave it at that. Nick, I appreciate your time, and I look forward to having you back on the program very soon.